right, 24 minutes before 10 o'clock. Our next guest is a name from the past, Robin. Dr. Cass Ingram has been with us before, but he hasn't been with us in a very long time, right? We haven't had him on in a long time. He was one of the first doctors to come on to talk to us in a way that I kind of understood, at least a little bit, that there may be some cures that are not necessarily pharmaceuticals. You know, some like oregano, for example, is one, I think one of the ones he wants to talk about today. Dr. Ingram is a nutritional physician, a lecturer, a contributor to radio and TV programs like ours, which we're honored to have him on. He's one of North America's leading experts on the health benefits and disease-fighting properties of wild medicinal spice extracts. So that's why you want to pay attention to the book, which is called The Cure is in the Cupboard: How to Use Oregano for Better Health. Good morning, Dr. Ingram.
Good morning. Good. How you been getting along down there?
Pretty good. Where are you now? It's a long time no hear.
I know. I'm in Chicago. Hey, keep in touch, all right?
yeah, we'll keep in touch. So, okay, the one thing that I remember talking about with you before are all oregano products created equal, something like that?
No, I did gas chromatography on 30 of the oil of oregano bottles that are on the shelf, because I know how really good wild oregano oil is, and how safe it is, and how productive it can be for people to take it. And I started to get some complaints of people saying they had headaches and gastrointestinal, even cardiac arrhythmia. In fact, one guy, when I was doing a trade show, I was doing a lecture about my book, The Cure is in the Cupboard, and the powers of the wild oregano. And a guy came up to me and said, help, I've got this cardiac arrhythmia. I said, what from? What are you doing? Well, I took this oil of oregano over here, and so I gave him some of the, honest to God. I gave him some of the oregano P73 as an antidote. So here this guy's got an oil of oregano cardiac arrhythmia. I give him the original. I give him the P73 oil of oregano under the tongue. It kills the cardiac arrhythmia. So I'm going like, well, what's going on?
Really?
So I analyzed the 30 brands, and I found out about 1/3 are genetically engineered.
Oh.
GMO.
Oh, wow.
Gee.
They're trying to patent the oregano plant.
Okay, gotcha.
You see?
Yeah. So can I ask you this, is this something that you couldn't have even mentioned? Not legally, I don't mean that way, but I mean it just didn't exist like 5 years? How long ago? It's been since you've been on.
It started in 1997.
Oh, okay.
You know how the GMOs were first introduced in 94. When nobody's heard this before, I'm publishing it in my new book. I've got this book, The Poison Cupboard, I'm coming out with on GMOs, all right? So I get an overnight package from some hotshot professors in I think in Massachusetts.
Right.
Hey, Ingram, you're the oregano guy. We want you. Come on board with us. Join us. We're patenting oregano and sage and
right.
Honest to God. And here's what we're doing. We're injecting the stalks with toxic, well, I call it toxic GMO bacteria to force it to make a high amount of active ingredient. Well, when they do that, they cause such corruption that something natural, just like the tryptophan. Remember Shodenka over there in Japan when they made the tryptophan and it led to that syndrome, EMS, and so no, not all oregano is equal.
Okay. So the other question was, and this isn't from me, but somebody who wrote in knowing that we were going to talk to you, is the oregano that we eat like in normal food just as good as an oregano extract pill?
Not all oregano in the shaker for pizza and spaghetti is equal.
Okay.
Okay, here's what's going on. Because it's a wild plant and it's hard to get, you have to scale the mountains with mule trains and stuff. They cheapen it for the shaker. They actually, and this is published very well. They cut it with weeds. Now, not that kind of weed, people, but they grind up. They grind up like grass and leaves and add it. So it's 75% weeds and 25% oregano.
Yeah.
And so then they irradiate it. The FDA mandates that kind of stuff is irradiated. So if you wanted really good oregano for pizza or marinara sauce, you have to get the organic, non-irradiated, or you have to buy the bunches, the actual bunches that they hang in Italy or Sicily or in Turkey, and then you buy the whole bunch, or Greece. And then so that's the situation. So that's why people are leaning on the supplements, which are guaranteed 100% oregano, and you can get the oil, the crude herb crushed up into a capsule with other spices, and people are taking that.
One of the things you mentioned in the book is that we, the public, are kind of in the dark as to whether a company we're buying from is ethical or not, and that's got to be true. But I don't know. I mean, if it's, what is your thoughts on this? Do we want the supplement industry to be regulated by the government or not?
No, because then you've got the government takes its own moles and puts them in there for its own purposes, like the pharmaceutical or the vaccine moles or the Monsanto moles, like Michael Taylor. Well, they install people for their own agenda. So you don't want the government agenda.
That makes
sense.
You
want the people agenda.
That's right.
The people can force regulate by their purchasing. The wallet and the purse can change everything. So as we educate the public, and they realize let's talk supplements, which supplements have GMOs, which ones don't have GMOs, which oil of oregano is 100% wild. See, the P73 oregano, not to pitch one brand or anything, but they started the whole thing. When I wrote my book, The Cures in the Cupboard, they followed my work, developed a factory overseas in Turkey, make their own extraction, built their own infrastructure,
right,
do their own research, do a gas chromatography. So they only use wild oregano from the mountains.
All right.
So we know, at least with that company, when it comes to oregano, they're king. So they make the oil, they make the whole crude herb, that's known as Oregamax, they make the juice of oregano. And you know what I have in my house? Juice of oregano.
That would make sense, yeah.
Oil of oregano, P73, and Oregamax,
Before we get to the break, I have one question to ask, and then on the other side of the break, I think the most useful conversation we can have for the listeners is to tell the listeners all of the things that the oregano can actually help that's in the book, okay?
Let's do that. You're spot on. What do you use it for?
But let's not do that right first. Before we take the break, I want to ask you this one question. When we are given an antibiotic, sometimes we're told that there are strain resistance, whatever. We can't take an antibiotic always for everything. All right. Does oregano or garlic or anything that's used as an antibiotic, or instead of as a natural antibiotic, I guess.
Yeah.
Does it ever get strain resistant? Are there ever any bacteria that?
I will mention that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll take the break, and when we come back, we'll find out the answer to that question. And also, you're not going to believe all the things that oregano might be able to help you with.
It's marvelous.
So when we come back with Dr. Ingram, long time no hear from Dr. Ingram.
We'll keep in touch.
Well, don't go away. We're coming right back with you. We'll be right back after this.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Windy and cooler Monday with intervals of sunshine and clouds. Monday's high 72, 74. Chillier with skies clearing out, a diminishing wind as well. Monday night low 46 inland to 52 at the coast. And sunny skies quite nice out Tuesday, high 72, 74. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Michael Stack.
Whether you're building it up or knocking it down, get it done, rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals is here to make your job a little easier. Our knowledgeable staff will help you find the right equipment for any job, big or small. Did you know that Sunbelt Rentals carries heaters, air conditioners, generators, lighting, traffic control, and so much more? So whether you're building it up or knocking it down, we've got the equipment you need. Get it done, rent it now. And right now, for a limited time, you can have it for less. Just by mentioning this ad, if you rent it Friday afternoon, you can keep it the whole weekend and only pay for one day. But this is a limited time offer, so stop into Sunbelt Rentals today, Northwest 27th, just a quarter mile east of I-75. For more information, just give us a call, 352-369-9101. 352-369-9101. Sunbelt Rentals. Get it done, rent it now. 352-369-9101.
The very best in quality is Captain T's Upholstery.
Hey, this is Dan. Let me ask you a few questions.
Does your boat look better with the cover on? Has your car's interior seen its better days? Stop using a towel to cover up those rips in the golf cart. Isn't it about time you had it restored to better than new with a custom upholstery from Captain T? Captain T's upholstery has been right here in Ocala for nearly 20 years, so they know how to make your ride one of a kind. Whether you want to take that classic ride back to a factory look or put your favorite sports team front and center, Captain T's Upholstery is who to call. 352-369-1810. That's 352-369-1810. Or stop by their location, 5030 South Pine Avenue in Ocala, just past the drive-in. And of course, don't forget to visit them on the web, CaptainTUpholstery.com.
The very best in quality is Captain T's Upholstery.
Next Generation MD is the future of healthcare now. Listen in the first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. to learn how the future in PRP treatments are here in our area. Find out the many ways that Dr. Juan Jordan, MD, Charles Brooks, NP, and case manager Mark Shaw have brought the family medicine practice to a new level. Hear from the very people that benefit from the fine work they have done in this field. Next Generation MD, every first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. here on WOCA 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
All right, 12 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Dr. Cass Ingram was on our show many, many years ago and used to come on kind of regularly. We haven't spoken to him in a while, but the book back then was called The Cure is in the Cupboard. The book right now is called The Cure is in the Cupboard, but there's new additions to the book. As the world changes, the books need to change, especially this kind of a book. So, Dr. Ingram, thank you for waiting through the break with us, by the way. So I guess the first question is the one we left off with. As bacteria seem to change, it seems like the antibiotic formulas that are given are changed. Does anything change or need to be changed with the oregano?
Well, the wild oregano has a different mechanism of action, so bacteria can't become deadly resistant. The problem with antibiotics is they mutate, and then there's no drug to treat them, and then they can actually cause fatality or loss of limb. You don't get that with oregano oil. Oregano oil burns the outside layer of the bacteria. It can't really resist that. It eats the cell wall, and it obliterates it. Now, maybe a germ could become tolerant to it, but not dangerously so. So you don't have to really change up. Let's say you've got a really terrible pneumonia or cold or flu. You can pound the oregano oil without any consequences. If you want to take, if you're taking the edible kind,
Right.
You can take 10 drops every hour, 10 drops every 2 hours. You can take a dropper full 4 or 5 times a day to kill it.
Okay.
Without any issues.
So that brings up this question. The back of the book says that one of the things you can cure is earaches. Do you put the drops in your ear?
Yeah, what you do is you rub the tragus, the soft hanging, and you rub a little bit around the ear canal. That's enough, and then you take it under the tongue. You don't have to pour it inside the ear. If you want to, you can. It's a little hot, but not bad. But just sublingually, it will cure earaches, holding it there as long as possible. So you've got really topical and internal. It's extremely good under the tongue if you can handle that, not on the tongue. It's great to take by gel caps if that's the only way to do it. The people are perspicacious.
Right.
You can rub it and scrub it on the bottom of the feet, on the shins, on the top of the thigh, up and down the spinal column. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Well, let me tell you something first. I am a guy that has never really needed a doctor. But 2016, I was in the doctor's office probably 2 or 3 times a month because I had something going on in my legs, both of my legs, with the veins. And anyway, long story short, they took care of it. Would something natural? They took care of it with this surgical procedure, basically.
Okay.
But the doctor also told me I should get something called L-arginine, which is okay. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was surprised actually that a medical doctor recommended a supplement first.
Well, it's getting that way a little bit better, but it's a long way to go.
So I'm looking at the list of things that oregano can help with. I mean, it's everything. It's eczema, fatigue, flu, wounds, and wounds is what made me wonder if it was applicable to a vein thing going on.
Yeah, it would have been had we got you and put that super strength and had you scrub that area and take 20 drops twice a day. But it depends on the condition. You might have needed, every condition is different. So you'll see recommendations in the book for the total body purge if there's a gallbladder and liver and parasitic problem, recommendations for raw honey, vinegar. Every disease requires different remedies. Now, what's oregano oil really good for, though? You're talking about sinus, bronchial, pneumonia, dry cough, congestion, allergy, rhinitis. You're talking about wounds that are infected. You're talking about infected dental, toenail fungus, ringworm, athlete's foot, rash, eczema. Anything that could be infectious, candida, irritable bowel. Now let's talk about the gut. The P73, along with the Oregamax, is a 1-2 punch for H. pylori, for gastritis, esophagitis, Barrett's syndrome, irritable bowel, spastic colon, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. It wipes them all out.
Okay. Go ahead.
You had said that this is good for sore throat. Now, I've known some people that have been in the hospital. They've had to have this tube down their throat, and the tube has had to stay there for a few days after operation. Then when they pulled the tube out, your throat hurts. And now I know I know two people that it's been years since they had this, and their throat is still sore, and it's not getting any better. Is this good for that?
Yes, it would be excellent. They may have developed a secondary fungal infection, you see, in that area. So they would take the oil of oregano, P73, under the tongue, holding 5 drops there as long as possible, 3-4 times a day, and they would sip on something called the juice of oregano.
Oh, okay.
Do you do this all day long?
Well, until you get rid of it.
No, but I mean you personally. Do you do oregano every day?
I do a lot of oregano. I like to rub it on my body. I smell like a pizza factory. And I take a few drops every day, twice a day, because I never get sick. I don't want to get sick. I'm too busy with radio and TV and all that. And then I take the Oregamax every day, and I take something very powerful. This is so powerful. There's no way you could ever get any kind of a germ. It's called Oregaresp. I take that too, a couple capsules a day, and that puts me at the top of my game. It's extremely powerful, and it's made from oregano, cinnamon, cumin, and sage. The extracts, all that, very, very powerful. And see, the one thing I did get, I'll just share with you, and I wrote a book about it when I was in the woods. I got the Lyme disease about 4 years ago. I was picking wild herbs for a whole week straight.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't pay any attention the last couple of days, and I got a bad case of Lyme. And this Oregaresp with the other oregano supplements, it cured me.
Really? So do you use it with pets too, like for fleas and ticks and all that?
Oh yeah. If you put a little oregano oil in their water, a little juice, they're not likely to get the fleas, and it'll act as a repellent for your ticks. But if they get the fleas, you put the oil of oregano directly on, or there's a spray. There's a spray called Orega Spray, and you spray that on the hide. It will kill the fleas. It'll kill the mange. It will act as a repellent, so...
All right, let me squeeze a phone call in before we run out of time. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Dr. Cass Ingram.
Yes, on this oregano, I have a bottle of that P70.
Yeah.
And it is so strong that when you say multiple drops under the tongue, one drop is like unbelievably strong.
I know.
How do you do? I mean, I put one drop in some oil so I can make oregano oil like for a salad, and it's still overpowering. I mean, that sucker is strong.
I know, but you see, when you're dealing with like toenail fungus or a bad case of flu or horrible sinusitis, you sometimes got to grin and bear it and take 5 or 10 drops. Hold it there. Now, As long as it's under the tongue, it's not as bad as on the tongue. And if you can't do it that way, like you said, you could dilute it. You could take that P73, get a bigger bottle, dilute it with 2 or 3 times olive oil, and then you can still get the effect.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be curious to know if that helped him out with any health issues. All right, so the book is called The Cures in the Cupboard. I have a copy of the book. Call me if you want it. It's the revised edition. So if you got it years ago when we first talked about it, it's a kind of a different book.
Oh, yeah.
So call me and you can get it, the one that I have. The rest of us have to buy it. Dr. Ingram, do you have a website you can send us to?
CassIngram.com. My PowerPoint oregano is there. 10 minutes, you can view that. CassIngram.com. And if you want to buy the book, just get it there. Support the little guy. Let's get away from supporting the behemoths that don't care. CassIngram.com. That's your source of the book. And then, maybe you can check the health food stores and see if you can find, if you need it, the oil of oregano, the juice. Hey, listen, if you've got chronic infection, which is common in Florida,
right.
if you've got hepatitis, if you're stuck with AIDS, if you're stuck with immune deficiency, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, very common in your area, this is the cure for that. So study that.
You bring out different points in your book. Also, I never knew warts were contagious.
Warts can be very contagious. If it's a bad case, you can spread it between children, between adults. But warts, the oil of oregano topically and under the tongue obliterates both genital warts and skin warts. Yeah.
My goodness.
Oh my
All right,
gosh.
let me. I think I have a taker for the book. Good morning. Do you want the book?
Yes, please.
And do you have a question, or just you want the book?
No, I use a lot. How would it affect using oil in the diffuser?
Yeah, sure. The best one to put in the diffuser is going to be the Orega spray because it's already water miscible. So if you can find that or the Germicleanse spray out in the marketplace, that's your best bet. The oil is in an olive oil base. You can still use it. Yeah.
All right. So you have the book. Tell me your first name.
Kathy.
Kathy, you've got the book.
It's your book, lady.
Thank you, Kathy. Dr. Cass, thank you for coming on the air. Always good to hear from you.
We'll talk maybe later, see what's going on down your way. God bless, and happy New Year.
If you're ever in the area, we'd love to have you in the studio.
Hey, let's do that. No, I'll do that when I come down. I'm coming down in February.
Okay.
So let's see what we can do.
Okay, excellent. That sounds like fun. All right,
Okay.
we will take a little break, and we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Windy and cooler Monday with intervals of sunshine and clouds. Monday's highs 72, 74. Chillier with skies clearing out. A diminishing wind as well. Monday night low 46 inland to 52 at the coast. And sunny skies quite nice out Tuesday high 72, 74. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Michael Stack.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. President Trump tweeting this morning that it will be a busy week, starting off with a breakfast meeting with business leaders.
We'll have these meetings whenever you need them, actually, but I would say every quarter, perhaps.
Executives from Dow, Ford, and Lockheed Martin, just a few of the executives at the meeting today, talking about trade and other issues. The president also due to sign some executive orders today. In the southeast, 19 dead confirmed from weekend storms. 7 when a tornado ripped through a Georgia trailer park.
You literally have a trailer park that looks like it's been disintegrated.
Dougherty County, Georgia Commission Chair Chris Cohilas. Heavy rain forecast for much of the East Coast today. Opening statements today in the trial of a man accused of conspiring to detonate a bomb in support of ISIS at a Florida Keys beach. Fox News, we report, you decide.
For me, it was the big S-Class from the 90s. Beautiful. My friend's dad had one.
The SL. All of the SLs. I've been watching those since I was a kid.
I think the 1971 SE was the first Mercedes that just blew me away.
Everyone